Fashion has always known the importance of anticipating and adapting to the world around it, and that's never been truer than right now. Take a look at these images from September 2019 in Paris. A crowd gathers to see the latest offering from young designer Marine Serre. One woman wearing a statement mask stands out. Fast forward to May 2020 as the world grapples with the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's a look that seems very prescient indeed. Belgian designer Martin Margiela has always chosen to stay anonymous, never appearing at his own shows and refusing all interviews and photos. He also often chooses to mask the faces of his models. His explanation: he wants the clothes to get all the attention. Today, no one knows what will become of fashion weeks, not long ago the cornerstones of the fashion calendar. Now, creating new collections is hardly a priority, and as such, the largest names in French luxury, Kering and LVMH, have been quick to react, adapting their production lines to the demands of the times. And that's true of the wider industry too. In Normandy, workwear producer Kipley has turned its attention to producing masks and other protective equipment.
It hasn't actually been that complicated. Technically speaking, these products are quite easy to make. You just need 3 different types of machine. We're used to different methods for small series production. We have a wide variety of skills here, so it was really quite straightforward.
But this must all have come at a cost for you.
We are certainly in a very dangerous period for the business. These are uncertain economic times. So, my position right now is that this operation shouldn't be leaving us out of pocket. And there's also something else that we need to work on. We need to be upgrading our tools. In the 1970s, we were the kings of design. We had really advanced ways of analysing our operations. To give you an example, we were making jeans in Amiens for Lee Cooper. And we were making a pair of jeans in under 20 minutes. We studied absolutely every element of the process to be as competitive as possible. But that's no longer what we do. Everything's been delocalized. So today, it's time to get back to thinking about how best to move forward.
Could this pandemic then be a driver of the fashion of the future? Jean-Charles de Castelbajac, chief designer at Italian label Benetton, is keeping busy during lockdown.
This is something I've been working on. The Diary of a Man in Lockdown. I'll show you some drawings I've done in the past few days. It ties in with what we were talking about before, the idea of the fashion of the future. So you see that amazing range of colours that we've seen emerge since the start of all this, with the amazing strength of frontline nurses and doctors. We've seen 2 colours, celadon green and that almost opal blue. And actually, these 2 colours were developed during the Vietnam War between 65 and 75. For the mobile army hospital units that treated soldiers in the jungle. They were the only 2 colours that repelled the flies.
And do you think this pandemic is likely to bring something new to the world of fashion? Is anything going to change?
For me, the key to reinvention is proximity, authenticity. There needs to be an end to the arrogance in fashion, a sort of humility almost. For years now, we've been talking about dystopia, this idea that tomorrow will be worse than today. But me, I'm a child of an era of utopia. That's to say that when I was born, people were making plans to go to the moon, to amaze people. We were all going to lead wonderful lives. I think this test is here to make us start thinking about the possibility of a new renaissance. And that, once it's over, we'll have to get to work on making fashion magical again. I'm 70 years old now. The older I get, the more each moment is delectable. Or rather, each minute, every second has become an opportunity for me to evolve. So, my message is simple. It's about rebirth, reinvent yourselves, rethink your existences, while privileging hope, love, eternal values, but valuing creativity and creation above all, because within each of us is someone who creates.
Confronted with a global pandemic, fashion has no choice but to evolve. As for what the future of fashion holds, time, it seems, for a little soul-searching.
As a field reporter, you really get a sense of just how important it is to be able to go and check out things for yourselves on the ground. One example which stays in my mind is when I went up to northeastern Nigeria with my colleague Jonathan Walsh, and we wanted to do a report about the impact the Islamist group Boko Haram had left on the communities there. And we were being told by the Nigerian army for months that they had won the ground war, that the militants no longer posed a threat. And as soon as we were in the zone for ourselves, we could see that that was just clearly not the case. There were some roads that our local fixer, our producer, was absolutely terrified to take for fear of being kidnapped. We were flown out to enclaves of land by the UN by helicopter because we couldn't drive there. People were too afraid to go back to their homes a kilometre away because there was still fighting going on. And we even located one active Boko Haram member living in a refugee camp who told us he was still in regular contact with fighters out in the woods. So that really highlighted for me how important it is to go and see for yourselves what's happening and not believe what's in official statement, press releases or communiques.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.
The world is ever changing. The news doesn't wait. That's why at France 24, we'll always be there to help make sense of world events. For the best international coverage, 24 hours a day, no matter what, France 24 is with you everywhere, all the time.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.